to this day. In every single way, I got a song for you to stay just a bit longer than before, just a bit longer than before. I've seen a million ages end in one day, a billion heartbreaks, battles and crusades, a trillion reasons to conquer my rage, and an infinite apology.
So I want to be able to work with a therapist here and be able to do art therapy and those type of things that'll help the veterans, not only for the enrichment. I put it over
Put the big one over there, huh?
Yeah, so I have a rep here somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And the receptionist will be here as you come in here. I'm creating a little gift shop.
Right.
Okay, and she'll direct the person who's come to see you or me or whoever throughout the building, and or visitors that come in to give them information on all of us.
Yeah.
We'll hand them a brochure, what we're all about.
Right.
And we're all individually owned and independent veteran businesses.
Yep.
Right.
So,
You know, it's funny, lofts, and there were all these different businesses. I mean, it was, whether it was, you know, what you do or leather, it didn't matter.
Right.
But they were all there. This same idea
this is that.
for veterans.
right.
Yep.
This is
You
for
know,
veterans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And their particular businesses. And,
It's a very cool thing.
And
Yeah.
what they have to offer other veterans.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And
I think you start with established buildings that we can renovate.
Exactly.
Because you refer to it as transitional housing, right?
Yes.
Whether it's a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year,
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't build something
Yeah.
from scratch that's new.
Right.
Remodel, get them in there, whether it's 14 units, 15 units, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
And down in Phoenix area.
Yeah.
Get that established first.
Right.
Coupled with what's going on here, right?
Right.
And now you start to grow, and then you do one more.
Right.
And then,
Yeah, word
maybe
will
in a
spread.
couple years from now,
Yeah.
then you start buying the individual single-family dwellings.
This is a big sign that we're going to be putting on that wall. So as you go north or south, you got practically a billboard on the building.
Absolutely.
And we're going to use that veteran community health and wellness concept.
Right.
You know, veteran owned and operated, support our veterans. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody in here working is a veteran owned business.
Right.
And even the gift shop's going to be with veteran arts and crafts. So
And let me
this
tell you
is
what I
gonna
do
be-
like. Trump just signed an executive order within the past 48 hours, and he's gonna make it easier to start businesses and do this. So any veteran who wants to come in and try and get a business started,
right.
the federal government's gonna make it a little bit easier. So that's
This is going to
you know, you said, we can teach a man to fish. Where he goes after that, that's.
Right.
You know what I learned from the market construction was the fastest knowledge that they can take it with them.
Well, and Phoenix is the #1 growth city for real estate in 2017.
Right.
Phoenix
I mean,
Business Journal,
just look around now.
I mean, everything.
There's buildings going up every place.
everything's
It's
pointing,
gonna
and
continue.
we are it's
But don't we-
California, Texas, Arizona, and Florida are the 4 largest states that have veterans, and I think we're #3. So we have, you know, the 4th largest veteran population in the country.
We haven't even really opened up our doors yet. I mean,
Yeah, no, you guys are brainstorming.
Kind of like brainstorming.
Yeah. Because to say, okay, we'll have guys on the project
Yeah.
that are learning, it's not that easy.
No.
Because if somebody's not skilled and they're just standing around a project, we have to do the project, right? We gotta get things done.
Right.
There are time schedules, there are deadlines,
Yeah.
okay? People,
Yeah.
you know, you're talking 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you're working. To take time to instruct Joe
Right.
how to hammer a nail, very difficult. You almost
Yeah.
have to have a person dedicated, on site, on the job, every day to work with 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, who is also a construction guy who says, okay, I want you to go over here and start framing, and I'm gonna tell you what you're doing wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got
Right.
almost just a separate class
Right.
Yeah.
going on while everybody else is doing the project.
Right.
And he will stand there and say, okay, look at what Pete's doing. He's doing it right because he's doing A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
So there's a class going on in parallel with the actual project going on. Okay?
But we do have the VA where
Makes
we
sense.
could get funding to get these guys on as apprentices.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, for instance, Daryl's not gonna pay this kid
Right.
$15 an hour. The government's going to do it because he can tap into the VA to learn to trade.
Right.
And so Daryl, the plumber, isn't worried about, I'm losing money because this kid doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
Daryl, our plumber's doing his job, and he's bringing these kids in. Maybe we even have them go through like an ASMAT test, and we find out who's good at what, and we say, okay, you're good at electricity, you're good at plumbing, you're going to be a framer, you're going to be a roofer, you're good with siding, stucco, what have you. And we could teach them, which would take a lot of time, but it could all be done.
Someone like Craig, who is just very knowledgeable about construction.
Craig used to teach.
Okay, he's knowledgeable about all aspects of construction.
Craig did two tours in the Navy, and then he retired from the Air Force after I think 30 years. And he used to teach construction classes. He'd sit in a room like this and teach people. So we've got those kind of assets.
Perfect.
I mean, it really
We
is.
could pull this together. Now also,
Definitely.
now just jumping ahead in time, we talked about it downstairs about franchising. The idea for us to, we've worked at this for over 2 years now, to create a model here that works.
Yeah.
We will then bring that model to New Mexico,
Yep.
wherever.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll find somebody in New Mexico that wants to run a VetsBuilt Contracting franchise.
Right.
And again, in parallel with that, you guys are right here with us.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And we obviously identify places that we think are the right markets.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And we're setting up shop there, while you're setting up shop there right next to us, because here we go together.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Agreed. So
Yeah.
we have a platform.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
blueprint. And everybody can read the blueprint.
Right, that's exactly it. It's a blueprint.
Yes, sir.
Which is what the whole idea of a franchise
It's
is about.
a-
It's a blueprint,
It's a blueprint.
and it's read this and take it off and just duplicate.
Yes,
That's
We
the
have a
word,
business model
duplication.
that is proven.
Us
Yeah.
team members are getting into position. It's like, we can't attack yet, and we have an objective right now. Right now, we're setting up and building our
Base of
defenses,
operation.
our base of operation.
Yeah.
And we gotta, get everything refined, get all
Yeah.
our team players in place.
Yeah.
And then once we have that, we kind of open up our doors and we start, boom.
Yeah.
Then we go out and seeking sponsorship and so forth to come into,
So it sounds like what
Get
you've
funding
got,
from the
this
government.
building is kind of, not even kind of, this building is pretty much turnkey to get ready to start working with
Yes.
guys.
right.
It's a training facility.
It's a training facility, and it couldn't be at a better location.
Right, it's
than
right
up
down
the
the street.
street from
Yes,
the
sir.
VA.
When we do the parade, I'm gonna try to get a little bit of funding because I wanna create a float for the wellness center.
Oh,
A
cool.
float, I wanna design it and everything, I just need the funding.
Yeah.
And it's all veteran-made float,
Yeah, yeah.
All veteran participated.
awesome.
All designed, and then at the end of the
Well-
parade, we're gonna have them come in here and have an open house.
I can tell you, after a couple of years of dealing with this and talking to some of the groups that I've been involved in, the word will spread very quickly
Oh, yeah.
because there's a real need for this. Veterans, getting them housed, putting them to work,
Put 'em to
makes
work.
politicians look really
yeah,
good. And so, McCain would be after it. The mayor of Phoenix, they're all going to shake their heads and go, okay, whatever we can do to help, because it's a very popular cause right now.
Yes, sir.
And that's
We
why,
got a
Now, I
lot of
also,
homeless
just an FYI, I have my real estate license as
Oh,
well.
beautiful. You broken up?
So
Yeah.
I'm an agent. I'm not a broker, but I've had my license for 15 years here, and I do commercial and residential.
Yeah.
Not only that then we got the building side, but in terms of finding properties, looking for properties, all that stuff, I can do.
But a lot of these guys don't even know that they qualify for veterans benefits.
Yes, sir.
So not only do they qualify for the loan, and then people say, well, that's great, how are you gonna pay for it?
Right.
Well, a lot of these guys that have post-traumatic stress, whether it be psychological, whatever it is, but they're gonna be able to collect a disability.
Right.
And if you're 20, 30, even 40%, and you got a wife and kid,
Right.
those numbers add up to $12, $15, $18, $2,000 a
Yes,
month.
sir.
If we do the housing the way you're talking about, because DJ and I have looked at this,
Yes, sir.
and we know that we could build about an 800 square foot home,
Yes, sir.
and we can get someone in it for about $50,000, not including land, but
Yes.
But-
yes.
the number on that is about $260 a month, and out of the $14, $15, $2,000 a month from the VA, they can pay for their
Yes,
mortgage.
sir, and
So
pay
we
it
already
off.
know they're qualified for the loan,
Amen.
and we know they're going to get the money to pay the loan.
And we
From
can
a loan
finance your
perspective,
house.
it's a no-brainer.
Yes,
You
sir.
know the government's going to do it, the government's going to back it, the veteran is getting paid, and you're going to, from an investment point, where does it get better than that?
Right.
It doesn't. So we can put that together.
Yes, sir.
And we can take a lot of veterans off the street
Right.
and put them under a home.
See, another thing we do in-house, I'm getting back to my art.
I get a little passionate
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
I'm getting back to my art thing, how I contribute. That's why I know the importance of visually, how that's gonna impact just the traffic. That's 24 hours a day on the street there, and it's patriotic. It's gonna look patriotic. It's gonna be eye-catching. People are gonna wanna go in and find out what this veteran place is all about.
Right.
Do that. Also, I do brochures and catalogs. We'll create one. Yeah, all this stuff is done in-house. You know, I print it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Print it right here.
Yep.
yeah.
You know, so we do that in-house, and veterans who are partial to learning how to do stuff like this,
Right.
I can train them. I can put them through a course, and this is just part of what I have to.
Yep.
So I'm really anxious to get this going, get the.
Well, and the
Well,
timing couldn't be
No,
better.
the timing couldn't be better. I mean, what was the Marine's name? Kevin?
Yes.
You know, I mean, Kevin got blown up in Afghanistan, and he got blown up. I mean, he's physically, if you look at him, he looks pretty much okay, but he did get some shrapnel, and one of his buddies was not far away, and he got hit, and he literally just got atomized. I mean, he's gone. There was nothing left, Kevin said, just evaporated. And it fucked up his head. And Kevin's now 100% disability. You know, he's got a wife and 2 or 3 beautiful daughters, you know, but
We actually had to build him, not had to, but they got funding. And we built a man cave for Kevin to go in and be by himself and
Yeah.
get away from it all, because he was just so stressed out.
yeah. And it was through the Marine Corps something fund.
And they got, it was a Marine Corps fund.
Yeah, it was a Marine Corps something fund that
They paid for this
gave him the
room to be
money.
built for him inside, and they
In his
called
living
us,
room.
and we built this room.
So
You know, very simple, but good, you know?
now Kevin's passion is fishing. What you get talking fishing with him, he lights up like a freaking light bulb. All of a sudden, what you said earlier, you know, when you go into your place with
Right.
this, Kevin gets on the water,
Right.
there is no stress.
Yeah.
You know, that's his safe place. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot we could do.
Sloan Gibson's the #2 guy for the VA, and I was expecting pushback from this. I said to him, I gave him a copy of the magazine. He's from Washington, so he's just was here for the day. And I said to him that we're going to be in. I didn't ask him, which is kind of unusual. I was, you know, I just found the nerve to just say. I said we're going to be in every VA medical center and clinic in the country. I said that to, we're gonna be there.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know, you could say, who authorized that? You know, give me your card, I'll send you a letter from a lawyer in Washington.
Yeah.
He loved the idea, and even said he would write for the magazine.
Yeah.
I was expecting pushback, and he was willing. I walked out of that meeting, I said, we just launched nationally.
Yeah.
I don't even realize it, but we just launched Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, markets I don't even want to go to.
Right. Right.
Yep.
When you got Florida, Texas,
You'll
Earth.
never take me away from loving you like I do this day. In every single way, I got a song for you to stay just a bit longer than before, just a bit longer than before. I've seen a million ages end in one day, a billion heartbreaks, battles and crusades, trillion reasons to conquer my rage, and an infinite apology face. So sing, 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 sweet melody. Nothing is harder than starting all over again, starting all over again. So sing, 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 sweet melody. Nothing is harder than starting all over again, starting all over again. Battles and crusades, trillion reasons to conquer my rage, and an